Alrighty, y'all. So we have more stuff obviously coming out. The ReZero collab is officially here. For anybody who still does not know, if you open up the game, you can summon for Emilia. A lot of people have been asking me, when is Rem coming out? She's actually coming out 7 days after the banner, the Emilia banner came out. So she should come out next Wednesday or next Thursday. Where do I stand right now? Now, I haven't tested out Emilia, my own Emilia 555. And some of you guys were asking, Zxous, why were you not going to rank her 10-10-10? And it's for the honest, simple fact that most people, and I'm also even including whales in this, are not going to have her 10-10-10 because we know the half anniversary is coming. We know that Rem is the better character, and if you were going to 10-10-10 one of the two, it would be her. Like, people just do not have enough match to 10-10-10 three characters like that unless you're Uga Boo, like Elon Musk type whale, right? Elon Musk type whale, and that's like 1% of the game. So I didn't want to rank her 10-10-10 just because a lot of you guys wouldn't have that. I do think she's better than what I gave her credit for. So we are going to summon, because I did end up buying a, you know, just the little step up pack there. I didn't know they had the step up pack, so it's a W. So hopefully we can get her, right? Hopefully we can get her, right? I'm hoping that we can get her just so that's like, okay, we can test her out 555, which I believe most people, if not everybody, will actually have her 555. So come on, let me get it early. Okay. Another shaft session, huh? We're doing this again, huh? Another shaft session. That's what we're doing, right? This is my third multi on the banner, y'all. Hey, now another shaft. Okay, so your boy is not getting lucky. This is why you don't talk crap about a character, because it comes back to bite you. So I'm gonna summon more again tomorrow, because that's when I do get paid. We're going to test out Emilia with another comp, so I'm going to bring that up right now. Alrighty, so we are still going to use the 10-10-10 thing because we're forced to anyways, but I do want to try her out with Mica, right? Because the whole thing about this Emilia is that she needs max ammo capacity, or at least the more max ammo capacity she has, the stronger she gets. So I'm thinking by using her with Mica, after she has full stacks on her tidying up, she actually gives all allies a permanent 30% max ammo capacity buff, right? So I'm gonna add that with obviously Litter, who gives us a max ammo capacity buff as well when we use her burst skill. So we're gonna do that, and then also Noir, where when we enter a full burst, all allies get a max ammo capacity buff as well, right? So we're just gonna switch this right here and see how she is. So the thing is, also people wanted me to actually try her against a non-typing, like, because she was type advantage against the fire, right? So I'm gonna rebuild the team. 1 second. Alrighty, so we're gonna go in here against the iron one, against the mobs. Now where I stand is she's decent against mobs. I want to say she's literally just a worse A2, and I know some of you guys might be like, Zxous, how can she be a worse A2 if A2 needs heals? And that's because A2 is actually good against bosses as well, right? Remember, every time A2 uses a normal attack, she actually has increased damage to enemy parts, which is very good against bosses, right? But here, what's the number at right now? Right now she's at 1.7, and that just, okay, yeah, so having the max ammo, that jumped from 1.7 to 10 million, right? And then the whole time for the burst skill, she just has the explosion radius increased as well. So you guys can see she's actually going to do a decent amount of numbers. So I definitely want to give her more credit than we had for her before, because every normal attack, you have to remember, she also has additional damage of 58.99% just damage dealt, right? So as you guys see, that's why she's hitting like a lot here. But when you use her burst skill and there's a lot of mobs, like I'm talking about a boatload of mobs, you're going to notice that she is really going to, you know, hit hard, right? And what I mean right here is, right now she's at 19 million. It just went off and hit multiple enemies. It went to 28 million. So that's what I mean, right? And she does no overload gear. And then situations like this where there's that many enemies, everybody's getting hit and her numbers is just going up and up and up and up. So honestly, I definitely am going to give her a lot more credit than I had for her before, right? And do we have tidying up? Yes, we do, because she is fully stacked. So we do also have the 30% permanently. Where is it? Where is it? We should have it up because we're fully stacked up on tidying up, meaning that we just have the increase, I guess. I guess it's not an actual buff. We just have it. Oh, it's 40% for us, right? It's 40% for us. So I was looking for 30%. It's 40%, which is right here. Because remember, everybody's 10-10-10 right here. So it's gonna work out great. She has 19 you know, damn, if she has 19 with a team like this is why I want to pull her, because if I could pull her, I could give her overload gear. I'm not going to, honestly. So if any of you guys have overload, I might have to ask somebody in my server, but if you guys have overload, I want to test it. But I'm thinking if you give her overload with max amp capacity and just give her a max amount of max amp capacity, is she gonna cook? Because right now she's at 42 million. And that hit one enemy and it went to 46, right? So there has to be a lot of mobs. But against a single boss, I don't think she's going to be doing this. Not at all. Not even close. All right. Is she good against a single boss? We could test it. All right. We could definitely test it. So this is still 10-10-10. Everybody here is 10-10-10. This is unfortunately not a realistic build, but... right, I mean, I expect people to have the bunny girls or later 10-10-10 by now, especially later since she was here since the beginning of the game. Bunny girls is a character as well. Mica, I definitely don't expect anybody to have her 10-10-10. Maybe I expect people to have not expect, but maybe I wouldn't be surprised if people had her max amp capacity permanent buff up the entire time. Right, so we're at 800,000 right now. Before the bullet actually hit for Emilia, it went to 5 million. So she definitely cooks, right? 55 or 58%. Every time you just use the normal is pretty good, right? We should also test her out with characters who also buff up charge damage and charge speed and stuff like that. Imagine if Red Hood, what Red Hood has and what Red Hood gives to herself, she gave that to all allies. Be very good. But there's no question that Emilia is going to be a lot better with Rem. That's just guaranteed, right? She's going to, because remember, Rem gives a 50% attack buff to rocket launcher characters, right? When you use her burst gun, that's every burst rotation. So you could run her with Litter, who's also giving you a massive attack buff, then her, and then, or even Red Hood, who's giving you a massive attack buff, then Rem, and then Emilia with other characters who are buffing your attack. Like, this is where Rem comes into play, because Emilia, I think people are still saying she's mid, and I think the people who are still saying she's mid, they're just coping because they don't want to go back on their word. I mean, beforehand, almost everybody was saying Emilia wasn't going to be that great. But now we look at her now, and against a solo enemy, she's not that great. But against mobs, she's actually pretty decent, right? She's like a hand-me-down A2, and A2 is still one of the best characters in this game, in my opinion. I'd say A2 is what, a top 20 character in the game, guaranteed. So for Emilia to be a lesser version of A2, and only because she doesn't work that well against bosses. Well, I mean, she does damage against bosses, right? 28 million. She's not competing with anybody here, right? But I feel like for Emilia to be doing 28 million and Noir to have 22 million, that's not that great. Because even Blanc has 10 million. Even Mica has 14 million. You know what I mean? So I feel like for Emilia, having that number against a solo enemy when you have all these supporters who are damn near half of that, or even like Noir is an attacker, but she does more support than attack, right? So the only time she's really doing damage is on her normal attack or her burst skill. So I feel like for these characters to be close to Emilia's number against a boss, you can clearly see, it's as clear as day that it's not working out, right, against a single boss. You're not using her against a single boss. Do you need her? Definitely not. I do think she's pretty decent. Okay, that went from 29 million to 32 million. And again, that's because it's a single enemy. But do you need her? Definitely not. Would I recommend getting one copy of her? Again, I wouldn't recommend. I'm not gonna force you to get one copy of her, right? At the end of the day, it is still your decision, so you can do whatever you want. But I don't think you need to have this character. I think she's just another good DPS against mobs, right? And if you missed out on A2 and you feel like you want A2 in some type of way, you could have this character, but overall I still think your thing is better preferred with Rem, because Emilia eventually is going to fall off, right? It's just inevitable. Emilia will fall off because she's a DPS. DPSs do not have the same longevity as support characters. For any rocket launcher or any character who comes into the future who needs heals, Rem is going to be a first pick for that. Emilia, the more and more characters we get who hit harder than Emilia that are rocket launchers, or who does what Emilia does that is a rocket launcher but just better, she's gonna slightly just keep going down, right? I feel like the reason why A2 is still relevant is because A2 is good against bosses, right? Emilia did not end up surpassing A2. If she did, A2 would have fallen down, but she did not end up surpassing Emilia. But yeah, like the 53 million to 45 million, maybe it's just a me thing, but I feel like Noir is more of a support than an actual DPS. So for that to be happening against Emilia, who was hands down full DPS, she has support mechanics, but to herself, right? Noir is what? She's giving max ammo capacity when you enter a full burst. Yeah, she's giving an attack buff to everybody, which is also going to Emilia, and then she's only doing damage when you use her burst skill, and it's not even that great. 300% final attack is damage to all enemies, right? It's not that crazy, so she's really more of a support, and for her to be doing 45 million close to Emilia, but I do think Mica, which is what we wanted to see here, is doing good for, you know, what's her name, Emilia, right? I think Mica is doing very good for Emilia, so I do like this combination right here. You guys definitely let me know what you think, right? Honestly, I still haven't tested her like 555, so if I'm going to give my opinion after testing her now 10 multiple times, I'm going to give you guys my opinion, but again, I want to give you guys my real opinion when she's 555, but I will give you guys my opinion right now. Alrighty, so before we wrap the video, my opinion right now after testing her multiple times at 10, I think she's good. I think she's good against mobs. Against bosses, I think she's decent, right? There's no question she's putting out damage, right? No matter where she goes, if it's mobs or bosses, she is going to have a decent amount of damage minimum, right? Against mobs, her damage is going to be a lot more because there's just so many enemies, and her damage output that's going to multiple enemies. She's an AoE based character, so it makes more sense that the more enemies there are, the stronger she is. She's an AoE based character. I do think she is a hand-me-down version of A2, right? And I do think if you don't have A2, it wouldn't be bad for you to get her. I'm not going to force you to get her because I still don't think Emilia is a must-have in any way, shape, or form, but I do think Emilia is better than what me, myself, and the community has given her, right? Almost everybody, if not everybody, said Emilia was going to be, you know, trash, right? Of course, there were people, including myself, who said let's wait for testing and see if she does surprise us, but I think majority of the community was set in stone that she was a bad character. And after testing her, for me personally, I can't speak for everybody else, but for me personally, I never actually included the explosion radius also accounting to the full-blown like 1300% charge damage shot. I never even put that together. Not only that, I think I mentioned it one time, but her first skill also working well with the burst skill as well, because the more ammo capacity you have, the more damage she's doing. So I think a full-blown overload with the right stats and the cube you want for her 10 Emilia, you're gonna see crazy numbers. You're definitely gonna see a crazy Emilia like that. But overall, right now, I think she's pretty good. All right, not a must-have, not meta changing or anything like that. I think she's just another good option for something we already had in the game. That's just my opinion right now at 10 out of 10. You guys will get my official video called My Honest Thoughts about Emilia after I do pull her and test her out. That'll come out in a few days. But for now, let me know what you guys think from my testing, from other people's testing that you've seen, and your own testing. What you guys think. If you guys are still saying she's mid, grow up. You know she's not mid. Realistically, like maybe she's not broken against bosses, but she's definitely not mid against mobs. So like, just let's stop being petty. I understand you still hate the ReZero collab, but don't let your hatred for the ReZero collab cloud your judgment on the character and how good they are, right? That's just my message to the people who are still doing that, because it's very easy to see who is still doing that. But for now, it's your boy Zxous. Make sure you guys subscribe, and like, we are actually very close to 14,000, so if you made it to the end of the video and you enjoyed it, I know I'm yapping, but if you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys subscribe and like if you want to. And yeah, now I'm gonna end. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out later. Peace.